the rap game can get pretty wild, whether you're in the streets or not. Sometimes, rappers catch heat and end up being part of a beef they have nothing to do with just for associating with the wrong people. Jack Harlow is the most recent artist to get caught up in someone else's beef and now may be banned from performing in Kentucky after a woman was shot at one of his shows. Let's take a closer look at this story. Jack Harlow is a rapper and singer from Louisville, Kentucky. Jack was born in Shelbyville, Kentucky and started rapping at age 12 when he and his family moved to Louisville. Jack grew up on a horse farm and his parents are business owners who run a Signamarta franchise, a business marketing company that sells signs and other promotional materials. According to the artist, Jack's mom was a big Eminem fan and introduced her son to rap when he was growing up. So Jack didn't have the same kind of street upbringing that many poppin' rappers had, but he managed to break through to the mainstream with genuine music ability and a consistent hustle. He started making music when he was in middle school, using a Guitar Hero microphone and laptop to record his music. He and his friend Sharath produced a CD called Rippin' and Rappin' and passed it out at their school. He got his hands on a real microphone in the 7th grade and started rapping under the name Mr. Harlow. He released a mixtape called Extra Credit that same year. He was also part of a group called Moose Gang and recorded 2 mixtapes that were never released. He released his first official mixtape titled Handsome Harlow in 2015. He followed up with another mixtape the following year called 18, which was released less than a month after he graduated high school. Around that time, he also formed the music collective and record label Private Garden with fellow Louisville rappers Ace Pro, 241, Shloob, Quiso, and Ronnie Luciano. He moved to Atlanta in 2018 and started working at the Georgia State University cafeteria to support himself. A month after he started the job, he met DJ Drama and signed to his Generation Now label in August 2018. Jack released his major label debut, Loose, later that year and started building a buzz in the industry. Then, in 2020, he released a single What's Poppin' that became a major hit thanks to TikTok. He followed up on the success with the Cole Bennett directed music video and a remix that featured DaBaby, Tory Lanez, and Lil Wayne, cementing Jack Harlow as one of the hottest up-and-coming rappers currently in the rap game. But with sudden success comes negativity, and recently, Jack Harlow was involved in a major scandal after a woman was shot in a nightclub where he was performing. On April 30th, 2021, Jack Harlow was performing at Vibes Restaurant and Ultra Lounge, a venue hosting a 2021 Derby weekend kickoff in Louisville, Kentucky. Around 1:30 a.m., a fight broke out after a woman approached someone on the stage. Footage of the event shows a woman yelling at someone but is held back by the crowd. It's hard to hear what's going on, but you can tell by the crowd's reaction and the shouting that things are getting tense. Jack Harlow himself can be seen standing up on stage, looking nervous as the room gets louder and louder. You can hear a faint crash over the roar of the audience, and then a fight quickly breaks out. Seconds later, you can hear the pop of a gunshot, and everyone starts to run and scream. The police arrived to find that 2 people had been shot. A man who was brought to the hospital and treated for non-life-threatening injuries, and a woman who was pronounced dead on the scene. The woman who was killed was the same one who could be seen in the cell phone footage yelling at a member of Jack's entourage. Authorities have not officially identified the victim, but people close to the woman quickly took to social media to announce that her name was Cash, and she was a well-known bartender who worked at a nightclub called Legends in Louisville. One of the people close to Cash, who identified her as a stand-up comedian named Jason English Sr., who posted a Facebook Live session where he broke down the whole incident. He claims that the shooter was part of Jack's entourage. He says that although he's a fan of Jack Harlow's music, he still holds him partially responsible for Cash's death. He says that he knows how easy it is to sneak a strap into the club when you're a well-known celebrity, especially someone as big as Jack Harlow. Jason even claims that he's carried a 9mm into clubs in Louisville without any problems just because he knew the bouncer or the promoter. He says that the only reason the killer was able to get into the club was because he was with Jack. Otherwise, he would have been searched. He also goes on to claim that the shooter allegedly killed someone else before the incident at Vibes Restaurant, someone who was well loved in Louisville. He questions why the dude would even show his face in public, knowing that people are coming for him. He also hints that the killer got off on the other murder by claiming self-defense. He says that it isn't entirely Jack's fault, but he does deserve some of the blame because he's rolling around with dudes who are involved in serious beef and allowing him to get past security with loaded weapons. He also places blame on the club security and promoters for letting artists get away with sneaking a gun in the venue.
Lil Wayne and his entourage got pulled over. Jack Harlow has a song with Lil Wayne. So he's a rapper. Artist. Lil Wayne gets pulled over. His entourage is found with guns. Who got in trouble? I'm going to leave it at that. Enjoy your day. Walking away. And prayers out to the families.
To make matters worse, a security guard from the club posted a video where he threatens Jack and tells him he's banned from performing in Louisville. He started the video by admitting that when artists and their entourage come into the club, they usually don't get patted down. He says that Cash was his friend and he tried to stop the whole thing from going down, but there was nothing he could do. He reveals even more information, implying that it was Jack's DJ who fired the shot and that he had been responsible for killing Cash's friend, which was why she was yelling at him. He goes on to blame the people she was with, saying that she had 7 men with her and none of them did shit. But he also says that if people should be mad at anyone, they should be mad at Jack. He says that Jack and his DJ are permanently banned from performing in Kentucky. He says that if he sees Jack in public, he's gonna have problems, no matter who he's with or what he does to protect himself.
I don't give a who he with, police, whatever. Nigga, you the reason why Cash is dead, nigga. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, bro. I see that nigga bust. I see him today. I don't give a is he coming out of Churchill Downs. He gonna get 100 dropped on his and y'all could share this video. None. I don't give a nigga, and I ain't even from Kentucky. But he can't come back to Kentucky and do no shows. Nigga, you go on the road, wherever. Nigga, we lining your ass up, nigga.
Based on these videos, it's pretty easy to figure out what happened. Jack rolled up to the club with his crew, which included DJ Ronnie Luciano, one of the members of the private garden collective that Jack founded. They got into the club without being patted down by security because they were celebrities and Ronnie happened to have a piece on them. Ronnie had also allegedly been involved in a shooting at a strip club that left someone dead, and he beat the charge by claiming self-defense. Cash happened to be a friend of the victim who was killed at the strip club and confronted Ronnie when she saw him on stage that night at Vibes. According to witnesses, Cash hit Ronnie in the head with a bottle, which can be heard on the video. He then pulled out a gun and fired, hitting Cash and one of the dudes she was with. So many people are placing the blame on Jack, claiming that the only reason that his DJ was able to get into the club with a gun was because of his association with the artist. Jack was supposed to announce the Riders Up call at the Kentucky Derby the next day, but was replaced last minute because of the controversy. Even though Jack had nothing to do with the beef or the actual shooting, he's now banned from performing in his home city. Whether or not the security guard actually has that type of influence in the streets of Louisville to stop a rapper from performing in the entire city is tough to tell. But if I were Jack, I definitely wouldn't be going out in public in the city until things blow over. The security guard is probably trying to shift some of the blame away from the staff onto the artist. Even though it may be common to let the talent through without any hassles, some of the blame does fall on them for not doing their job properly. If they had searched Jack and his crew like they were supposed to, Cash never would have lost her life. It's a tough position for Jack to be in. Although he wasn't involved in the fight himself, he was the biggest name in the room, and therefore, he's gonna face all the heat. G Herbo recently did an interview with Gilly the Kid's $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, where he talks about having to move smarter when doing shows and other public performances, because if something pops off, he's the one getting blamed even if it had nothing to do with him. It seems like Jack Harlow may want to take a lesson from G Herbo and tighten his circle so he doesn't end up accountable for any more murders. But Ronnie wasn't just a random DJ hired for the event. He and Jack have known each other since 2016, when Ronnie started sending the rapper beats. He ended up DJing for him on his first tour in 2018, and the two have been close ever since. So it may be tough for Jack to cut ties with someone who has been with him since the start of his career, but he may have to if he ever wants to perform in Louisville again. The case is still ongoing, and new details will likely come to light that may either save the rapper or make it worse. But if Ronnie is arrested and charged with murder, it's gonna look pretty bad on Jack if he doesn't distance himself. As of currently, the police haven't made any arrests, which is weird given that the shooting was caught on camera and the whole internet seems to already know who did it. There is a chance that Ronnie could get off with self-defense again because Cash did strike him with the bottle before he fired. It's impossible to tell from the footage whether she hit him from behind and he spun around and shot because he was being attacked, or if he was just pissed off about getting hit and started to let bullets fly. Jack definitely isn't the only person to blame. The security detail could have been tighter. The dudes Cash was with could have confronted Ronnie, and of course the DJ could have easily just walked away instead of shooting into a crowd of people. But like G Herbo said, no matter if he's completely innocent or not, the blame is gonna fall on him, because he's the most famous person in the room and the only reason the event was happening in the first place. It would probably be wise for him to distance himself from Ronnie, at least for the time being, even if he is a day one homie. It seems like the DJ was already bringing drama around, and the murder of a female definitely doesn't look good, even if it may have been self-defense. Plus, it's not like Jack is being banned from performing in a random city he can just avoid. If he ever wants to feel safe going out in public in his own hometown, he has to do something to calm the situation. The biggest thing that's going for Jack Harlow is that he has never portrayed himself as a street artist. Even though one goon in Louisville may want to put hands on him, that doesn't mean the whole city's gonna get behind applying the pressure to him anywhere he goes. If anything, the threat should be aimed at Ronnie. The video probably wouldn't have made it to World Star if the dude just threatened the DJ. Jack's not the first performer to get banned for performing in a particular city, and he won't be the last. Back in 2013, the Gangsta Disciples banned Rick Ross from performing in cities across the Midwest and the South, and just a few months ago, DaBaby was banned from performing in Kansas City after a video of the artist saying that he was smoking on a KC pack went viral.
We smoking on that Kansas City pack tonight. We smoking on that Kansas City pack. We rolling it up right now. We smoking on that Kansas City pack tonight, nigga.
But Jack is probably the first rapper to get banned for something that this DJ did. The situation will likely blow over without any actual violence, but this incident could damage Jack's reputation if he's not careful. He's managed to build respect in the city by being a vocal supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement and for shining a light on authentic street artists from the city like ESTG. But that respect can disappear in a minute if he starts hanging around with the wrong crowd and doesn't speak up about a tragic murder that occurred at one of his shows. He'll probably keep his mouth shut until more details surface and there's an actual arrest and criminal sentencing. Throwing his homie under the bus just to save face probably isn't the best look either. So the best thing Jack can do is just send his condolences to the family of the victim and maybe help pay for the funeral. He may be forced to separate himself from Ronnie Luciano for good, or risk getting himself involved in street beef that he doesn't want any part of. Jack is a major label artist, and most of his fans probably don't care about what his DJ did, so it's unlikely that the shooting will seriously impact his career. But he needs to learn how to move smarter and track the people in his entourage, or he may end up in another life or death situation.